Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
Member for Kamukunji. I thought I saw him. You have not. Very well. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to take this opportunity to present a public petition number 015 of 2021 regarding the renaming of KARURA Forest after Professor Wangari Maathai. I, the undersigned, on behalf of the various environmental conservationists across the country, draw the attention of the House to the following: that it is an established historical fact that the late Professor Wangari Maathai was instrumental in salvaging KARURA Forest from the existential threat of land grabbers, thereby safeguarding its preservation, conservation for current and future generations. That on account of Professor Wangari's tireless efforts and dedication, KARURA Forest is today a thriving natural endowment that not only serves as a home to many animal and plant varieties, but also provides appropriations in aid revenue for the government through fees obtained for its benefits that attract thousands of runners, walkers, cyclists, campers, and tourists every year. That Professor Wangari's unmatched sacrifices, selflessness, and courage led to the preservation, conservation, and proper management of other forests, wetlands, public parks, and natural resources in the country, in a key drive behind the government's environmental agenda of passion, commitment, and resilience in promoting community forest management and improving the quality of life for many Kenyan communities who are immeasurable, and her environmental conservation legacy continues to be one of the inspirations behind environmental conservation and women empowerment in our country. That Professor Wangari was a leader of many fasts. As a matter of fact, she was an extraordinary woman, a global icon, and an environmentalist, international environmentalist. She was the first woman in East Africa to obtain a Doctor of Philosophy degree, the first woman to be appointed associate professor at the University of Nairobi, a founding member of the Green Belt movement, a founding advocate for multi-party democracy, and in fact, she was a member of parliament representing the people of Nyeri in this August House. And she is also the winner of many other awards, including the Right Livelihood Award, Better World Society Award, the Global 500 Roll of Honor, the Goldman Environmental Prize for Leadership, the Edinburgh Medal, Jane Addams Leadership Award, the Golden Arc Award, the Indira Gandhi Prize, among others. That her noble work has been appreciated globally by many countries, including France, which started a school in her honor, the United States of America, which opened the Wangari Maathai Gardens in Washington, D.C., the Wangari Maathai Trees and Garden at the University of Pittsburgh, the unveiling of her statuette at Benedict College in Kansas, and the historic Global Award of the Nobel Peace Prize in 2004. That, sadly, nationwide, the recognition of Professor Wangari in her own native country of Kenya is comparatively low, exemplified only by the renaming of Nairobi's Forest Road to Wangari Maathai and the establishment of the Wangari Maathai Institute for Peace and Environmental Studies at the University of Nairobi. That in view of the concern that most of the accolades, awards, and commemorations recognizing and honoring the exemplary work and the impact of Professor Wangari are primarily undertaken by foreign countries. And further, in view of the fact that her 10th death anniversary is in September this year, it is a high time and it's prudent for the state to consider renaming KARURA Forest after this icon of national heritage and champion of global environmental conservation. That efforts to have the matter addressed by relevant authorities have not borne any fruit, and that the matters raised in this petition are not pending in any court of law in Kenya. Now, therefore, your humble petitioners pray that the National Assembly, through the Department Committee on Sports, Culture and Tourism, 1, considers the matter with view to recommending the renaming of KARURA Forest as Wangari Maathai Forest in order to accord due honor to Professor Wangari Maathai's effort of championing the forest preservation as well as enhancing Kenya's international image in environmental conservation, promote ecotourism, rebrand and revive the vibrancy of the forest, inspire and motivate younger generations to embrace conservationism and to foster and inculcate transformative values by restoring the culture of afforestation, reforestation, and conservation of natural resources. And 2, makes any recommendation that it deems fit in the circumstances of the petition. And your petitioners will ever pray. Presented by me, the MP for Kamukunji constituency, on this afternoon in this August House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We'll accommodate a few comments and clarification. Honorable Wamalwa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to comment on the petition by the Honorable Member for Kamukunji. Mr. Speaker, the late Professor Wangari Maathai, she was a wonderful lady, Mr. Speaker. She's the first African woman, Mr. Speaker, to win a Nobel Prize. She put her efforts, her life on line for sustainable environment, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I remember her words of the hummingbird. And she said this, Mr. Speaker, that we must be like a hummingbird, whereby the little things we can be able to do to sustain the environment. We should not see just the fire. This hummingbird used its beak to pick little water to put off the fire. And she used to say that the environment will never forgive you if you don't take care to conserve the environment, Mr. Speaker. And in line with the Heroes Act, Mr. Speaker, whereby we should rename that forest in remembrance of this hero, Professor Wangari Maathai. I want to thank the honorable member. In this country, Mr. Speaker, we are very forgetful of our heroes. And Professor Wangari Maathai, on matters of environment, Mr. Speaker, she leads as others follow. And we call upon the honorable members and the relevant committee in charge, I think the Committee on Environment, to move with speed, with recommendations, Mr. Speaker, so that we can be able to rename that forest for Wangari Maathai. We don't want it to look like in Kileshwa, where a road was named by a trade unionist, Atwoli, who has done so much in this country, Mr. Speaker, and some crooks go in the night to demolish. It is good, we must recognize the heroes. Atwoli, when it comes to the trade union matters of trade, he has also done his bit, Mr. Speaker. And indeed, it's important that we must respect heroes and let the committee move with speed so that we can rename KARURA Forest in memory of Professor Wangari Maathai. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Sankok.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Also to congratulate Honorable from Kamkunji for bringing such a very important petition. Honorable Speaker, Professor Wangari Maathai was the first African woman to win the Nobel Prize. Honorable Speaker, and she won that Nobel Prize through tears mixed with blood. Because I remember when I was in the University of Nairobi, she single-handedly rescued and saved Karura Forest. We were students by then of the University of Nairobi. We were with her. Some of our students were even killed when we were saving Karura Forest. Honorable Speaker, she was the first Kenyan woman to become a professor, Honorable Speaker. And you know, Honorable Speaker, a professor will never retire. And if they retire, professors don't tire. And if they tire, a professor will not die. And if the professor dies, he will not rot. And if the professor rot, he will not smell. And if he smell, he will smell rose flower. Honorable Speaker, we really need to honor some of these heroes, Honorable Speaker. And it is high time that we honor her, not only by renaming Karura Forest as Professor Wangari Maathai Karura Forest, but even a national school, Honorable Speaker, or one of these stadiums that we are building, Honorable Speaker, so that the whole world can be remembering. Because in a forest, there is literally very little that we can do. It will only be accessible to Kenyans. But if we have an international stadium where we can have Olympics, where we can have international football, Honorable Speaker, the whole world will be seeing that we have honored a professor, Honorable Speaker, who was a very great environmentalist, Honorable Speaker. It's only today that I have changed my colors, Honorable Speaker. I normally wear green. Why? Because it is a sign of conservation, that we need to conserve our forest. We need to make our country green. So, Honorable Speaker, I do support, Honorable Speaker. No, I normally put on green. It is only today that I changed to yellow.
Now you are starting.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
An argument.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for giving me that opportunity. You are a presidential candidate. I really, I know most members will be on your camp, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Now you are speaking a language that is alien to the House. Honorable Professor Oduor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would want to also commend and agree with the petition that has been brought forward by the MP. Honorable Speaker, leadership, as is clearly reflected, is what we need when there are challenges and when we need to have solutions. And Honorable Speaker, I remember Honorable Wangari Maathai as a leader. I know, Honorable Speaker, that members have alluded to what it is that she did in terms of being a woman, the first woman professor, first woman who did one thing or the other. But I remember Honorable Wangari Maathai, Honorable Speaker, and this is why I support, indeed, that we should name Karura Forest after her. She clearly helped us as Kenyans to understand that leadership is gender neutral. Honorable Wangari Maathai told us that when we want to look for the kind of person that we would need to put in leadership, we want to see their vision, we want to see their thoughts, we want to see their courage, we want to see their boldness, and indeed, we want to see that they are servants of the people. Honorable Speaker Wangari Maathai told us that leadership really is from the shoulder upwards. It rests in somebody's conviction and truly is a question of their heart. For this reason, Honorable Speaker, I think that it is extremely befitting that we would, by naming Karura Forest after Wangari Maathai, make sure that it is permanently etched and that generations to come will not only be looking to see that they want to have women who will be professors or leaders, but they will really seek to ensure that we do not bar or stop anyone from making a difference on account of the agenda. I support, Honorable Speaker, and I think it is a timely and indeed commendable request. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Emuhaya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And thank you, the Honorable for Kamukunji, for presenting that particular petition. That, Honorable Speaker, this was a great woman that even her death is not only a memento mori to ourselves, given the energy we saw of her when she worked that particular time, Honorable Speaker, I was a student, and how we saw her works and her fight. But also she remains as a memento vivere, because it shows us during our times of energy and capability, we need to work. And she worked for conservation of the environment and the forests. I vividly remember her for the fight to save the now President Uhuru Park and the extent she went to after the fight for KARURA forests. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I stand with the petition support that the relevant committee goes ahead to award recognition to her by naming KARURA, and possibly just add KARURA Prof. Wangari Forest. Because when you talk about KARURA, you talk about Wangari. And when you talk about Wangari, you talk about KARURA. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Endebess.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to contribute to this petition by Honorable Hassan, member for Kamukunji. On the onset, I want to support this petition. It is timely, Honorable Speaker, considering that what achievements the late Honorable Wangari Maathai was able to achieve. Honorable Speaker, as the committee looks into this petition, I think it is important that we need to have a criteria for naming of important places. You know, when Honorable Chris tries to justify the naming of a street in honor of trade unionist Atwoli, we can't put Honorable Maathai in the same category with Atwoli. I think that's an abuse. It is, and that is why many Kenyans feel that that kind of naming of a street in honor of Atwoli is not justified. I think this is a very important petition that we should not just trivialize it to issues that of the Atwoli level. It is important that you know.
I thank the Honorable Hassan of Kamukunji for bringing this important petition to this Parliament. Mr. Speaker, Professor Maathai had many firsts, and one of them was maintaining the greenery in this country that we see. Mr. Speaker, every Kenyan remembers how Professor Maathai fought for and including the Uhuru Park of today, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'll agree with members that KARURA Forest be named after Professor Maathai. Mr. Speaker, the climatic change in this world, had everybody listened and had they adhered to Professor Maathai's advice, maybe we will not have this kind of climatic change in this world. Mr. Speaker, I join Honorable Hassan in supporting this petition, but Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to find out. I've heard the Honorable Hassan say it be marked to the Departmental Committee of Sports, Culture and Heritage and Tourism, and I was feeling like it's more of environment, natural resources, or Mr. Speaker, according to how you're going to rule, maybe it can be joint committee of my committee and the environment, so that we can give him the desires of his requests, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
The Honorable Wanjiku Waruguru.
Asanti Bwana Spika, niruhusu pia nitoe pongezi kwa Mheshimiwa Hassan mbunge wa Kamukunji kwa sababu ya kufikiria mambo ya Mheshimiwa Wangari Maathai. Niseme ya kwamba sisi kama hili bunge hatutaki bunge la kitaifa lifanywe kama kaunti ambayo sitaki kutaja. Watu ambao wanaamka wanafanya mambo bila mpango na kuleta uhasama katikati ya jamii. Spika, mpaka iweko wazi kama hatuna sheria ambayo imetungwa, ni njia gani kamiti ambazo zitaweza kupitisha mambo ambayo inahusu kuname kitu nyuma ya jina ya mtu. Na tatizo na Kiswahili kidogo, lakini nitaendelea. Mheshimiwa Spika, niruhusu niseme, Mheshimiwa Wangari Maathai alishafariki ule mama. Alifanya kazi ngumu. Alifurushwa na serikali ya marehemu mzee Moi. Ule mama alifedheheshwa. Alitolewa nguo, alivuswa ushi. Alikuwa amefanywa akue kama mtu wa kuchekelewa na jamii. Ule mama hakukufa moyo. Niruhusu nitumie fursa kuambia wanawake tulio ndani ya hii bunge, safari zetu katika siasa si lazima ikuwe ni ya shangwe na vigeregele. Tutapigwa na tear gas, tutakimbizwa na polisi, tutatolewa nguo. Mheshimiwa Spika anauliza wanawake tukae kidete kama Mheshimiwa Wangari Maathai. Niruhusu niseme kwa sababu kuna watu ambao wako na mazoea. Wakishindwa kwa sera na kushindwa kufanya kazi, wakimbizana na wanawake na mapolisi. Wakimbizana na wanawake na tear gas. Mimi nitauliza,
please now be relevant to the petition.
Mimi nauliza, Mheshimiwa Spika, niko relevant sana kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Wangari Maathai, hakuna mwanamke amebeba fedheha katika hii Kenya kama Wangari Maathai. Marehemu Wangari Maathai. Na ndio nauliza Bwana Spika.
Honorable, there was nobody by the name Mother Wangari Maathai. Na hiyo mambo ya wanawake kukimbizwa msituni ama kwa barabara, sasa hiyo mkazungumzie kule nje tafadhali.
Mheshimiwa Spika, wewe ni spika ya wanawake, spika ya wanaume, na pia wewe umezaa wasichana, kesho watasimama kukuwa marais, na safari ni ile ile ya wanawake ya kukimbizwa. So sisi kama wanawake wa hii bunge tunazidi kusema Wangari Maathai viva, wanawake tusimame kindete. Naye minister ambaye anasuluhisha na maneno ya usalama, wacha kutuma maaskari wasukume wanawake, hasa wanawake wale ambao wanatafuta viti. KARURA, Wangari Maathai, wanawake sisi tunajivunia yeye, iendelee. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Sankok amevaa rangi ya chama, furusha yeye avae nguo ambayo inafaa bunge, manake hii amevaa uniform ya chama. Asante.
Honorable Kalasinga Majimbo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this very important petition. Environment, Mr. Speaker, is life. Environment, Mr. Speaker, is love. An environment, Mr. Speaker, is everything a man and all the living of animals like. I want to give a serious support to this petition because, Mr. Speaker, when you move around the globe, around the world, you see a lot of namings of this very important lady called Wangari Maathai. And when they come to this country, Mr. Speaker, they should also come and find serious names, serious areas where they can visit and enjoy, calling it Wangari Maathai. I also want to believe, Mr. Speaker, that when we name a person, let's take it also very serious, that sometimes we try as much as possible to name a person when he's still alive, Mr. Speaker. People who are alive have made histories. We must give them respect. We must give them the names, and even when they're walking and alive, they know where they're marked. And in the same, Mr. Speaker, I even want to name one of the very beautiful rocks on Kapchai Hills, Mr. Speaker, under the name of EGH, Justin Muturi. Because the people of Bungoma, Mr. Speaker, when you were the magistrate in Bungoma County, Mr. Speaker, you allowed the Dini Msambwa, who were outlawed, you allowed them to participate as a religion, Mr. Speaker. And whenever they pray, they face Mount Zion, they face that rock. So, Mr. Speaker, even while you are still alive, I will name that rock EGH Justin Muturi. And we shall pray, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we shall pray that in the next 2 years or one, you get the CGH, Mr. Speaker. That one is God willing or inshallah. This is member of Parliament for Kapchai. I support this petition. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Igembe Central.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving this opportunity to comment on the petition by the honourable member for Kamukunji. Mr. Speaker, it's good to honor our leaders posthumously and even when they are alive, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, there's no any other way befitting to honor somebody who has done exemplary work, especially in environmental conservation in this country, like Honorable Professor Wangari Maathai. Mr. Speaker, we have got so many roads here in Kenya which are named by people even we don't know, even foreigners, and we don't know what they did to us. A president comes and visits us for some few hours, he is given a road. Another one just comments good about Kenya, he is given a road. But we have got our heroes here who we don't recognize, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I really support the petition to the level that Wangari Maathai deserves to be, the forest should be named after her, and even other big structures or places like the park she saved when they wanted to build houses there, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I support the petition, and more so, we need to have even monuments depicting her good works, which she did, and even other parts of this country where she helped in conserving the environment. They should take cue, likewise, even in our counties. As a member of the committee, which will be tasked to look into this one, I will be the forefront to support it and come with a resolution that we should have the forest named after this great lady. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, so for avoidance of doubt, so that even as you comment about this, you comment with this knowledge, the responsibility for naming and management of forests and registration is vested or is to be found in the Kenya Forest Service Act. And for purposes of our standing orders, the relevant committee that should then be involved in that is the Committee on Environment and Natural Resources. So some people may have made a mistake, may have misled the Honorable Yusuf Hassan, because they thought it was a cultural thing like other ordinary things. Forests are not just treated that way. There are some forests which are very sacred, and I speak with authority on the issue of forests, you know. Honorable Kilonzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the opportunity to serve in the 9th Parliament with Professor Wangari Maathai. Professor Wangari Maathai, Mr. Speaker, if you look at the CV, she had over 24 international awards. In her CV, Mr. Speaker, she had 5 honorary degrees. Again, professional affiliations, she had about 10 of them. Mr. Speaker, academic appointments at one time in 1976, she was the chair, Department of Veterinary Anatomy, University of Nairobi. Among others, Mr. Speaker, academic qualifications. On personal achievements, Mr. Speaker, she was also a director of Red Cross. She was a founder and coordinator of the Green Belt movement. Among others, and not to forget, Member of Parliament for Tetu constituency in the 9th Parliament, Mr. Speaker. 3 things, Mr. Speaker, this lady did which Kenyans do never forget. If you recall, in 1989, the party, Baba na Mama Kano, decided to put a 60-story building in Uhuru Park, which one politician then, when he was asked why they should put a building there, he said people will be admiring the building. And he was told the only time people admire a building is when there's a fire. This lady, Mr. Speaker, stood against Kano government during that hard time, and the Kano government never saw the day of the light. That building was never put up, and Uhuru Park was saved. Mr. Speaker, at the height of grabbing of land, she stood very firm, not only on KARURA forest, Mr. Speaker. There's also a city park next to, on parklands. She was very firm, and because of her, KARURA forest was saved. But most important, Mr. Speaker, during the height of multi-party politics, we had very many Kenyans who were detained. She led a protest at Uhuru Park, which led to the release of political prisoners, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if there is somebody who has a right something to be named after that person, Mr. Speaker, it is none other than Professor Wangari Maathai. So I support the Honorable Member of Kamkunji in this petition and look forward, Mr. Speaker, to seeing Karura Forest named Karura Forest Professor Wangari Maathai or something like that, Mr. Speaker.
And for those that are members of APNAC, to also know, Honorable Kilonzo, that the late Professor Wangari Maathai was an extremely active member of APNAC. Honorable Muturi Kigano.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to speak about late professor from personal knowledge. I represented her, had the privilege of representing her when she was attacked in Karura Forest and then charged with incitement and all type of offenses. Mr. Speaker, Wangari Maathai saved Uhuru Park when Kanu went into encroach. No, saved Uhuru Park when Kanu wanted to invade the park and put up a monument, Kanu headquarters. She also represented herself and camped in All Saints Cathedral, which led to the release of Koigi and others. Wangari Maathai is an icon to be recognized in this country. In effect, we are late in giving her this type of iconic recognition, and this is long overdue. Mr. Speaker, she is a first in many spheres, in leadership and human rights. It is my submission that renaming this forest in her memory will be a reclaim to our loss and glory in history. Mr. Speaker, lastly, it is an insult to Wangari Maathai and to environment, green movement, when my Aswell colleague here wears yellow when we are discussing green and environment and an icon. It is a flaunt, that lady. I will also support, I will also look forward, I'm looking forward also to supporting a similar petition when anybody brings this petition to name, rename, is it called what? A road. Road in memory or in the cognition of the, no, in the cognition of Baba. Yes, in the cognition of Baba, because he was also an associate of Wangari Maathai. He also suffered for human rights. Bagadi Road, when it is brought, it is long overdue that we recognize the living heroes before they die. So Baba should be given a road. Similarly, Wangari Maathai. Thank you.
Honorable Olekenta.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'd like to also join my colleagues in commending the MP for Kamukunji for this long overdue request. Honorable Speaker, everybody knows that Wangari Maathai put this country on the world map. Having been a member of parliament, having been a professor, having been at least somebody who made Kenya what is today, I think she deserves that. The Nobel laureate, as we all know, suffered a lot. And it was not for herself or her children or her family. It was for the benefit of all the Kenyan people. I remember when she fought for Uhuru Park, for the preservation of Uhuru Park, Karura Forest, and she underwent a lot. And at that time, she was treated like a villain. And those people who suffered in the Nyayo gutters or detention centers, I think all those people should be recognized, because were it not for them, we will not be having the freedom we have today. In fact, when somebody talks about Honorable Raila, these are the icons that really fought for the freedom of this country. Nobody else can suffer like that. And it were not for them, even this constitution we are fighting over would not be there. And I think it's important that the Kenyan people especially the members of parliament and others, recognize this point. Because if we don't do it ourselves, then we are not thinking about this country. So I support, and I'm really also looking forward to such recognition. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. The time allocated for petition is over. Therefore, that petition stands committed to the Departmental Committee on Environment and Natural Resources. So the Honorable Hassan, don't pursue the Departmental Committee on Sports, Arts and Culture. Pursue with the Environment and Natural Resources. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Leader of the Majority Party.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House. Today, Tuesday, July the 6th, 2021, afternoon sitting. Number 1, the 26th biannual report of the Monetary Policy Committee for April 2021 from the Central Bank of Kenya. Number 2, the annual report and financial statements of the Kenya Reinsurance Corporation Limited for the year ended 31st of December 2020. Number 3, the report of the Auditor General and financial statement in respect to the Kenyatta International Convention Center, KICC, for the year ended 30th of June 2019, and the certificate therein. And number 4, reports of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect to the following institutions for the year ended 30th of June 2020, and the certificates therein. Number 1, Kenya Electricity Transmission Company Limited. Number 2, the Privatization Commission. And lastly, the Kenya Ports Authority. Thank you.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Leader of Majority.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 28.4, this House resolves to alter its calendar for the 5th session, regular sessions, as adopted on Wednesday, February the 10th, 2021, and amended on Tuesday, June the 8th, 2021, by varying the period for the short recess with respect to the second part of the session, so that A, the short recess commences on Friday, 9th of July 2021, and ends on Monday, 2nd of August 2021, and B, the House resumes regular sittings on Tuesday, 3rd of August 2021, to continue with the second part of the session. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
First segment, questions. And the first question is by the member for the Raka, Nithi County, Honorable Beatrice Nyaga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question is 225 of 220, and it is directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Infrastructure, Housing, Urban Development, and Public Works. 1. Could the Cabinet Secretary explain the status of construction of the Chuka, Kanwa, Karen, and Chiakariga Marimanti roads in Tharaka Nithi County despite having been funded? 2. What has caused the delay in the construction of the said roads to bitumen standards as directed by the President in the year 2017? 3. When is the construction expected to commence, and what is the expected completion date of the project? Mr. Speaker, I would like you to give me a minute to explain something small. This is not the first time, Mr. Speaker, we have asked about those particular roads in Tharaka Nithi County.
The member for Kangema. Yes, I need to. The rules actually don't allow a member to stand between the member speaking and the speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I was saying that this is not the first time for me to ask this particular question. Last year, 2020, Mr. Speaker, I brought the same question to this House, and the Cabinet Secretary came and explained and gave a promise, which he never fulfilled. Mr. Speaker, if I can remember in the year 2016, the former Member of Parliament for Chuka Igambangombe, Honorable Mudhomi Njoki, who is the governor for the Rakanithi County, brought the same question to this House. In the year 2018, Honorable Patrick Munene, who is the MP for Chuka Igambangombe, Mr. Speaker, asked the same question. The ministry have been giving us promises, Mr. Speaker, that have not been fulfilled. So I request the committee, Mr. Speaker, to tell the ministry that the people of the Rakanithi County have been waiting for these particular roads to be constructed, but it has not been possible for all those years. So, Mr. Speaker, we need a promise that can be fulfilled, that our roads are going to be made, they are going to be constructed, and on time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think, unfortunately, I had received a request by the chair of the committee, who is not, Honorable Kosing, is not around today. He had notified me about his absence. But I think your concerns will be recorded for purposes of presentation to the Cabinet Secretary when he next appears. But I think, Honorable Wankata, it would be good if you can be present. It would be really very good if you can be present to raise that issue with the Cabinet Secretary. So the chairman is directed to make sure that you are present. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Next question is by the member, Honorable Halima Mucheke.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My question, number 227 of 2021, is directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government. 1, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the status of investigations into the disappearance of one Dennis Kinoti of ID number 23-700-320, a resident of Meru Town, who went missing on 14th February 2021, and a report of missing person made at the Meru Police Station via the occurrence book number OB 98-1502 of 2021. 2, how many suspects have been apprehended or questioned in connection with the disappearance? And 3, what specific measures has the government put in place to protect Kenyans from the spate of abductions, kidnappings, and disappearances of persons that has been rampant in the country in the last 1 year? Thank you.
The question will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. The next question is by the member for Kwale County, the Honorable Zuleika Hassan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand to ask question 230/2021 to the Teachers Service Commission. 1, could the Commission explain the progress made in employing Islamic religious education or IRE teachers in public schools across the country? 2, what measures has the Commission put in place to ensure that the shortage being experienced with regard to IRE teachers is addressed soonest? Number 3, could the Commission provide a list of all IRE and Christian religious education CRE teachers and their placements to schools across the country? Thank you.
Very well, Honorable Zuleika, that's for a written reply. Therefore, the Teacher Service Commission is directed to provide you with a written reply within the next 7 days. They should be able to provide that. The next is by the member for Subukia, the Honorable Samuel Gashobe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'd like to ask question 2-2021, directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, urban development and public works. What measures are in place to prevent accidents occurring along the Solai-Subukia Road, D366 in Subukia constituency, noting that majority of them are due to sharp bends and lack of road infrastructure, such as signage, markings, speed bump, pedestrian crossing, among others. 2, could the Cabinet Secretary explain why the completion of the construction of the said road has delayed, including erecting of speed bumps, road marking, installation of caravans, traffic, and road signs? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
A question will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing. The next and last question is by the member for Meru County, the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My question 2-3 of 2021 is directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection. 1, what steps is the ministry taking to ensure that there are gainful and equal employment opportunities for persons living with disabilities? 2, could the Cabinet Secretary also provide information from the National Employment Authority on the status of the database on employment opportunity for people living with disabilities, considering that they are in their need of sources of livelihood, especially those from Meru County? 3, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a list of all registered PWDs in Meru County, showing the nature and the category of each disability? 4, what actions has the ministry undertaken to ensure that regular and periodical updating of the register is carried out for all PWDs across the country, particularly in Meru County, so that they may benefit from the various programs and facilitations meant to empower and assist and facilitate them in regard to their livelihoods during the COVID-19 pandemic? Number 5, could the ministry consider providing free assistive equipment and devices to all people living with disabilities across the country, and particularly in Meru County, so that they may live fulfilled lives? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Question will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. We move to the next segment of that order, which is responses. And there is a response to be given by the chairman, Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security, to a request by the Honorable Colonel Retired Geoffrey Kingangi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is the response to a statement sought by the member from Mbeere South, the Honorable Retired Colonel Geoffrey Kingangi, on the issue of brutal evictions of residents of Dunguni in Makena ward of Mbeere South constituency. Honorable Speaker, the member sought specifically the following: to be informed on the circumstances that led to the inhuman and extremely brutal evictions of residents and demolitions of houses at Dunguni Center. And 2, what urgent intervention measures the government is undertaking to address the ongoing humanitarian crisis at Dunguni Primary School, exemplified by massive congestions, devoid of sanitation, water, COVID-19 mask, food, and other basic needs, particularly in consideration that schools are scheduled to reopen on 10th May 2021. And 3, that in light of the fact that these residents are the rightful owners of the land near Masinga and Kembere dams, where they have lived and farmed despite claims to the contrary by Tana and Earth River Development Authority, that is TARDA, within what timelines shall the government resettle the IDPs, resolve the land ownership issue, and duly compensate the residents for their colossal losses. And finally, that on what basis the journalists and residents of the area, as well as the MP, was harassed, beaten, arrested, and does the government therefore intend to pursue the false trampled up charges against them? Honorable Speaker, the response is as follows. The eviction exercise in Masinga and Kembere was a legal exercise following a court order. The court matter was as a result of TARDA's effort to evict the illegal squatters from its property amicably without success. Consequently, TARDA filed a case in the Environment and Land Court in Embu, that is case number 148 of 2017-2018, TARDA versus Joseph Muli and others. The ruling was delivered on 12th March 2022 in favor of TARDA. Sorry, the ruling was delivered on 12th March 2020. I beg your pardon, Honorable Speaker, in favor of TARDA, where the court ordered for the restoration of beacons to safeguard the buffer zone of the two dams. And hereby they have attached the court order. The court further issued execution orders dated 3rd September 2020, directing the Regional Police Commander Eastern to provide security during the eviction exercise. There is also attached a copy of the execution order. Honorable Speaker, currently there are no internally displaced persons accommodated at Dunguni Primary School, and therefore there is no humanitarian crisis.
Allow me to put a few facts straight. Number one, the TARDA land in Bere South totals to 66,000 acres. It is colossal. It is kilometers upon kilometers of land. The piece of land in question is more than 6,000 acres. And it is touching Masinga Dam. And a distance of about 40 kilometers is the coastline, which is in my constituency of Masinga Dam. The truth of the matter is that nobody in my constituency entered TARDA land, because TARDA land is trying to claim this area for the first time. The people of Makema have been living there since the dam was constructed in 1978, more than 40 years ago. They have been living there. TARDA, in fact, the people of Masinga, they have 7 villages. There is Dungune village, Twanyoni village, Mudhidu village, Masai Cross, Ududune, Nungambo, Mwanyani, all those are villages. And for every village, there is a primary school. And in the area, in the same land, there is a secondary school. These people did not come yesterday. These schools are government schools. We have put CDF money to build classrooms there. And this is the area that now the Cabinet Secretary is claiming that he was bound by a court order. TARDA is a public body. They went to court to procure a court order. So it is government using one arm to procure a court order and then claim they are bound by the court order that they cannot protect the citizens. I don't know how it has come that the member of parliament now is called upon to defend citizens from their own government, people who are being paid through the taxes. People did not move into underland. TARDA moved into people's land 34 years after the construction of the dam. And after, TARDA was legally there in the place. These title deeds were only obtained in 2012. and people have been living there since 1978, when the dam was constructed. I do not understand why, out of 60,000 acres, it is difficult to settle around 300 families. Out of 60,000 acres, that's 300 families. To the extent that the government resorts to violence. Honorable Speaker, I would like to condemn the brutal violence that the government has resorted to. There was no need for violence. People were scattered all over the place without home. As a matter of fact, there is a young couple that lost a child in the night after they had been evicted by the government. The government owes the people of Makema an apology. The government owes the people of Makema a retribution, the payment for the houses that were demolished. The government must provide the people of Makema alternative land so that they can move out of the land they claim. Mr. Speaker, we are having a case where government abdicates their responsibility so that the people have to defend themselves against their own government. There is a negligence in the area on the part of public servants and public institutions. Mr. Speaker, this is an area where, before I came, half the constituency had no titles. And as we talk now, Karaba adjudication section has no titles. Riakanao adjudication section has no titles. Makema adjudication section has no titles. Gasabali adjudication section has no titles. And yet, the adjudication was completed 40 years ago. What is the government doing sitting around there and titles are in the offices in Nairobi and they cannot be issued to the owners?
This discourse becomes like a monologue. On occasion, when even it was a play, we would call it a form of soliloquy. because now you are speaking on behalf of your constituents, but now I'm wondering, the Honorable Mwadi, he can hear and I'm sure he is getting entertained, but he is unlikely to give you an answer to that.
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the opportunity to ventilate.
Yes, but that's why I gave you the opportunity to be able to say it. But it seems it amounts to some form of lamentation. And I wonder whether you are able to be present when the Cabinet Secretary appeared.
I was present.
You asked him those questions?
I asked those questions, Mr. Speaker.
And he did not respond to them?
He did not respond to them, Mr. Speaker. That is why I'm forced.
So now it is a lamentation.
This is a lamentation, Mr. Speaker.
But, so that now, then you must make it short because there's going to be no answer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will make it short. And I'll finish by saying that as far as we are concerned, the schools, the 7 schools that are in Makema, in the land so-called Tandaland, the 7 villages that are in the so-called Tandaland will remain. Because nobody has talked to the people of Makema. As a matter of fact, there is even a settlement scheme which was stopped 4 years ago for being occupied by landowners, by the government, and they have not come back. What is so difficult about talking to people, finding out what the problem is, and resolving the problem? Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for indulging me in my so-called lamentations. But you can understand the frustration that we have when we have an irresponsive government. It is really a shame. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I can see the Honorable Mbarire also wants to join you in the lamentation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me first begin by thanking Honorable Mwadi, the chair of the Security Committee, for bringing his response on this important matter. And let me first declare my interest that I am a member of parliament from Embu County, and therefore this matter concerns me a lot. And let me also thank the Honorable Kingangi, who has really taken this matter seriously from the word go, and having brought this matter before this House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the right to property is enshrined in the Bill of Rights of our Constitution, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, we know that in this country, property does not necessarily have a title deed to it, especially when it comes to land. There are people who have land, who have lived on pieces of land for many years, but may not have a title deed because the government has not accorded them that important document. Mr. Speaker, that is the case of the people of Makema. That is actually the case of a majority of the residents of Bere South constituency, Mr. Speaker. And so, because I would hate that it just ends with lamentations, would the chair of Security Committee, jointly with the chair of Lands Committee, consider visiting the people of Makema and having a public consultation and participation with them to understand the extent of their problem, Mr. Speaker. Number two, can the chair of Security Committee undertake to push for compensation of the affected individuals who are evicted by this government from their land, property destroyed, and right now are living in absolute poverty because of that disruption, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I end there. Thank you.
Now, we will hear not a lamentation. We will hear from a former CEO of TARDA, the Honorable Kevin Wanyonyi.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity and for the information of the two members here. I was the CEO for Tarita some times back, and I want to confirm that the mandate of Tarita is to be able to assist the communities around for their livelihood. I'm very surprised, Mr. Speaker, that they have gone to the extent of destroying the properties of the people around the setup of the Tarita offices, which from Masinga Dam going to Kembere, which I think was part and parcel of the development. Mr. Speaker, the solution to this is for Tarita to sit down with the people affected to be able to find a solution, because the mandate of Tarita is to help the community improve their livelihood by having programs such as agriculture in either land or land cultivation or specialized products and crops, and even the livestock, and including fishing, Mr. Speaker. So I'm so surprised that the mandate has now changed, and that the security, the Department of the Ministry of Security has come in to destroy the properties of the people. I would therefore suggest, Mr. Speaker, that the management, the current management of Tarita, sits down with the land, the Ministry of Land, and the community to be able to sort out. I don't think there's any serious issue here. And therefore, I think it's very unfortunate that it has taken that kind of dimension. But I think the best thing, Mr. Speaker, is for Tarita management to sit with the community rather than destroy the properties of the community. I regret whatever happened here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Mwadi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I empathize with the Honorable Kingangi and the members who have spoken, including Honorable Mbarile, and actually note that the situation as it sounds, because I'm not quite seized of what is on the ground, is really desperate and probably needs to be addressed in the manner that the former CEO has said. And this should have actually been done ab initio from the onset, that before people faced off, they should have been able to sit down and amicably also sort out, because the problem they are solving that by creating another one of people who have nowhere to stay. But again, for me to be able to come up with a comprehensive plan going forward, probably is to be able to visit the area and also see for myself, and not just myself, the committee, to be able to be seized of the matter. The land in question, if it is 66,000 acres, is quite big. Probably an engagement with the management and leadership of TARDA can yield some fruits. But at the same time, I would urge the member, if there are any documents that would indicate that those people have been there for 34 years as alleged, should also be submitted to the committee so that we are able also to make a case for these residents who are quite deserving. Otherwise, it went the wrong way, probably for me, that they were not able to sort it out amicably, and they had to resort to going to court. When I hear that there are 4 schools that are going to be left without students, then it should worry every Kenyan, that we should have schools where public funds has been spent, and the schools are going to be left empty because the entire crowd has been pushed out. So I will wait also seek for your direction, that whether we are going to undertake this exercise jointly with the Committee on Lands. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
No, I think it may not be necessary to have a joint sitting, because either committee is a committee of the House. And if you are to go with Honorable Kingangi and arrange a meeting, just for you to get a feel of what is on the ground, whether it's the other committee or yourself, you'll be able to still get a report. You have, because you have a secretariat which will be able to take note, and So I think you can do it, Honorable Mwadi. Your committee can do it. You can even have a subcommittee of your committee. But I would ideally suggest that you be there yourself, because then any follow-up between you and either the cabinet secretaries, both of lands and the interior, it would be better when you are the one leading the discussion alongside the Honorable Kingangi. Honorable Kingangi, I can see you are still not satisfied. You want to continue lamenting?
Much obliged, Honourable Speaker. I appreciate the chairman's undertaking to visit, and I think that will settle it for now. If he comes, I'm sure he will hear from the people themselves, the residents, and I trust that the chairman and the committee will come up with a variable recommendation. Much obliged, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Mwadi, you want to still speak to it?
Yeah, just to mention, Honorable Speaker, that I'm accordingly guided by your pronouncement, and that I will sit down with the Honorable Member together with officials from Interior, and we'll be able to get a date when you are going to visit. Say.
Yeah,
thank you.
It would really help, particularly when you have the officials from the Interior, then, because it's about human beings who are being evicted. And of course, in the process, the Honorable Kingangi himself ended up being locked in, isn't it? So I don't know whether he has since been charged, or he was treated differently from the rest of his constituents. Maybe, but the Honorable Mwadi will deal with that bit later. Next. That concludes that aspect of the order number 7. Next order. There's a one over, sorry. This member for where? This is on, oh, this is the majority whip. Member for Ndiwa. It's a member for Ndiwa. Member for Ndiwa, in the third year, I can say you are engaged quite intensely by the member for Homa Bay Town. Honourable members, before we move to the next order, I wish to make this communication by way of guidance on consideration of the proposed amendments to the Kenya National Library Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 5 of 2020. This is being the consideration in Committee of the Whole House of the Kenya National Library Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 5 of 2020. And I wish to guide the House as follows. With respect to amendments proposed by individual members on the same bill and the application of the provisions of Article 114, Clause 2 of the Constitution and standing under number 133, Clause 5. Honourable members, as you are aware, Article 114, Clause 2 of the Constitution provides that, and I quote, if, in the opinion of the Speaker, a motion makes provisions for a matter listed in the definition of a money bill, the National Assembly may proceed only in accordance with the recommendation of the relevant committee after taking into account the views of the Cabinet Secretary responsible for finance, close the quotes. Further, Article 114, Clause 3 defines what a money bill is, and it says it is any bill that contains provisions dealing with inter alia, taxation, the imposition of charges on the public fund, the appropriation, receipt, custody, investment, or issue of public money, and the raising and guaranteeing of any loan or its repayment. In this regard, every bill that provides for the matters noted above ought to proceed in line with the provisions of Article 114, Clause 2, aforesaid. Additionally, starting under number 133, subsection 5, provides as follows, and I quote, no amendment shall be permitted to be moved if the amendment deals with a different subject or proposes to unreasonably or unduly expand the subject of the bill, or is not appropriate or is not in logical sequence to the subject matter of the bill, close the quotes. Honourable members, on Wednesday, 19th of May, 2021, I did invoke the provision standing under 131 regarding harmonization of proposed amendments to the Kenya National Library Service Bill 2020 and referred to the proposed amendments by the Honourable Millie Odhiambo Mabona, MP, and those by the Honourable Dr. Patrick Musimba, MP, to the Departmental Committee on Sports, Culture, and Tourism for harmonization through a process commonly referred to as winnowing. The committee did consider the proposed amendments and has made observations and recommendations as follows. 1. With regards to the proposed amendments by the Honourable Millie Odhiambo, the committee notes that the Honourable Member proposes that the House amends the bill so as to introduce the following. A. New Part 2A to establish a Kenya Resource Identification Numbers Agency to administer international standards resource identification numbers for books, magazines, music, and other resources. B, new Part 2B to include a requirement for the deposit and registration of books and newspapers. This is already, of course, provided for in the Books and Newspapers Act, Cap 111. C, new clauses 35A and to 35D to import sections of the Books and Newspapers Act, Cap 111, and have the said parts incorporated into the library bill in a revised manner, taking into account the current Constitution of Kenya and the modern state of national and international trends. D, new Part 4A to provide for delegated powers by the Cabinet Secretary. E, new clause 39A to repeal the Books and Newspapers Act Cap 111. And F, fourth schedule to provide for the conduct of business and affairs of the board of the Kenya Resource Identification Numbers Agency. Honourable members, according to the addendum to the report of the committee, which is a product of the winnowing process, the committee notes that the proposed amendments directly fall within the provisions of Article 114 of the Constitution, as well as offend the provisions of Standing Order 133, subsection 5, as they contain money bill aspects, and also unduly expand the subject of the bill. The committee therefore recommends that the amendments ought not to be proceeded with. I have thoroughly considered the report of the committee and I agree with them. 2, with regard to the amendments proposed by the Honorable Dr. Patrick Musimba, seeking to establish, in bracket, Presidential Library Authority, close the bracket, and open the brackets, Governors Library Authority, close the brackets, with respective boards and corresponding functions. The committee similarly observed that the amendments fall within the provisions of Article 114 of the Constitution, as well as the requirements of Standing Order 133, subsection 5, and therefore also similarly ought not to be proceeded with. I have since also considered what the Honorable Dr. Musimba is proposing, and obviously creating such boards and authorities obviously will involve expenditure of public funds, whose budget the Honorable Musimba has not stated where it will come from, and the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury hasn't been consulted when the bill went for public participation. Honourable members, whereas I applaud the noble ideas by the two members whose implementation would have gone a long way in improving the management of the library services in the country, I must reiterate the need for due legal and procedural consideration by all members when proposing amendments. Instructively, it is noted that the amendments offend the provisions of Standing Order 133, subsection 5, which places a limitation on amendments that, in brackets, propose to unreasonably or unduly expand the subject of the bill, close the quotes. Such amendments would only be proceeded with in accordance with the provisions of Article 118 of the Constitution on public participation, which has not happened, as well as the provisions of Article 114, Clause 2 of the Constitution on the manner of considering a money bill. In this regard, honourable members, the cited amendments by the Honourable Millie Odhiambo and the Honourable Dr. Patrick Musimba will not be proceeded with. This includes Part C of the proposed amendment to Clause 2 by the Honourable Millie Odhiambo and all the amendments to Clause 2 by the Honourable Dr. Patrick Musimba. And for avoidance of doubt, honourable members, the proposed amendments for which a disclaimer under Standing Order 133, subsection 5 has been made in today's order paper will therefore not be proceeded with for the reasons I have stated. The House and members are accordingly guided. I thank you. Honourable Millie Odhiambo, it is not to ask me. I hope you don't engage in the reasons, because you have very good proposals. But I think, Honourable Millie Odhiambo, you are so seasoned. You are one of the most active legislators that I know in this 12th and 11th Parliament. To propose even an amendment to the other acts, or even to repeal it, I'm sure would have been the easiest for you. But I'll give you a chance to say something, Honourable Millie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for what you have indicated. I actually appeared before the committee,
and the chair of the committee would actually tell you that in regard to some of the issues, I was actually agreed with them in relation to public participation, because I was actually raising very fundamental amendments that may require some of the authorities or their views. For instance, the Office of the Attorney General, because I was killing one agency but creating another. So even in terms of budgetary issues, Mr. Speaker, I'm actually not creating, in effect, actually, I'm saving the country money. But having said that, Mr. Speaker, and I'm glad you have raised it, because I'd wanted your directions on these issues. One, on the issue of public participation, and not only in relation to this bill, because I've also seen it coming up in relation to other bills, that when members propose issues that relate to the bill, but may require public participation, is there a way that before the committee of the whole House, we can facilitate, because I know it is not unconstitutional to facilitate further public participation. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the other issue that I would also wanted to find out, that to determine the issue whether it's a money bill or the proposed amendments, especially the ones that don't have time. I know when we are dealing with appropriation bills and things like that, that they're usually timelines. But when we are dealing with a bill that doesn't have a timeline, and you are bringing something that is progressive for the country, because if you look at the Newspapers and Books Act, Mr. Speaker, I even asked lawyers, it's archaic, it's unnecessary, and if you are dealing with the libraries, there's nothing more relevant than books and newspapers in a library. And when I even asked some of the people, they told me some of the provisions in that act is actually cumbersome to them. They don't even know where to keep books in this digital era. The amount of money we are charging is outrageous for young people who are doing this kind of work. So, Mr. Speaker, I can still bring the amendments later once this bill passes, so that we kill the Newspapers and Books Act. But progressively, is there a way as a parliament so that we accommodate members to ensure that these provisions in the standing orders are facilitative and not a hindrance to members seeking to improve a bill? Otherwise, for purposes of now, I told the committee I really don't mind, but I would love for clarity, because not every aspect of my amendments is affected. So I just wanted to go on record that I have amendments which are not affected by your ruling, so that Majority Leader and somebody there who is cheering, when you take those positions, also be serious. You sit here knowing that you are coming here to work, Mr. Speaker. So don't feel bad when members bring amendments, because I've seen a culture that is growing here that when members bring amendments, some people think like it's onerous to them. I accept and embrace amendments because they actually build bills. We are not just ticking boxes. We are here to improve on bills. Otherwise, I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and no, don't be cheering. Otherwise, we will soon declare Kimunya must go. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well, Honorable Millie, in fact, even as you say, the first point on the first issue, and it's an important one. Remember, whenever a bill is read for the first time, it starts committed to the relevant committee without question put, and the committee, and this is going to come out, I think, tomorrow. The committee to which a bill is referred has a maximum of 21 days, within which period to bring a report. I think I want to blame committees, the committee chairs. When you think that you are going to take a period longer than the 21 days, there's no harm in coming back to the House in plenary and seek for extension of time. Indeed, you can even ask for more time than the 21 days, depending on the subject matter being considered. And therefore, on the point that you've raised on whether a member can come to, you kind of suggested to facilitate. I'd wish to discourage that one of the member, Because part of the reason why we came up with these new standing orders about members being assisted by the institution of parliament to legislate is to also take away that burden. Because I think if we do that, it will be too onerous on members. But I suspect, for the time being, because there's the Procedure and House Rules Committee, and I'm happy that the Deputy Speaker is here, and the Honorable T.J. Kajwang, and the other members of the committee, there's something that can also, in reviewing our standing orders, can be provided for. But in the meantime, should there be need, I want to encourage committees, please come to the plenary, seek for extension of time. Say you need more time to do public participation, and Parliament will facilitate. I mean, in the usual way. Rather than, if we put it now on the member, individual member to now go and, I don't know, a committee now has, is it 17 members or 19? If I hand the Honorable Millie correctly, she used the word to facilitate. It can be it can have far-reaching implications to your pocket. But I think the point you've raised is a legitimate, valid and legitimate one, which should be considered. But it will even be much better if the committee, or indeed if any member who thinks that their bill is in danger of being cut off by the 21 days, to even rise here and claim that the bill, my bill was referred to this committee, the committee has not finalized, and I still want the committee to continue to be given more time to consider the bill. And I'm sure the plenary will, as it has always done, graciously extend the time, and without any problem. But I think in the meantime, that's a point, a serious point that I think the members of the Procedure House Rules Committee should consider. On the other issue about money bill, it of course becomes it's self-explanatory. But of course, even though you are hoping, you intended by some of your actions to delete or to repeal the Books and Newspapers Act, which indeed, as you rightly again pointed out, is it's a fairly archaic piece of legislation. But I'm just looking at you and wondering, you have brought so much bills here. I would want to encourage you to actually make a proposition to repeal it and replace it with something new. Because I know you'll be doing a lot of that work in terms of, bring fresh bills, even, the enactment of which results in the repeal of those archaic pieces of legislation. So to that extent, am I clear, Honorable Millie? Satisfied? Very well. Next order.
Order number 8, Committee of the Whole House.
Order members, you can now take your seat. Take your seats, honorable members. We will be moving pretty fast. And of course, I know you've just had the Speaker's ruling, so we will be moving minus those particular amendments that were the subject of the communication by the Speaker. The format. Okay, let's proceed. Just a minute. We can now proceed.
Cross 3.
I propose the question which is at clause 3 be part of the bill. And I put the question which is at clause 3 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. But on that particular one, didn't we have a... We had an amendment from the committee on that particular one. So can we kindly go back to that one before we proceed? Sorry, I'm sorry, Chair. Just a minute. Excuse me. Millie. Okay, Chair, you can proceed and transact your particular amendment. I think I was too fast. Actually, the proposal, the one which is dropped is that one by the Honorable Millie, but the committee's amendment is going to proceed. So which is your amendment, Honorable Chair? You have the mic? Let me confirm if you have the mic. Give the chair the mic. Yes, Chair.
Thank
Now
you.
proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, on clause 3, Mr. Chairman, we are proposing that clause 3 of the bill be amended by inserting the word public immediately after the word other, appearing in paragraph H. Mr. Chairman, we feel this is for the purpose of distinguishing the Kenya National Library Service from the other public libraries in the country, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. I think that is extremely clear. So then I propose a question which is that clause 3 be amended as proposed by the chair.
By the committee.
Well, you are the one proposing on behalf of the committee, so it's actually you moving the amendment. In fact, I should be mentioning your name personally. Yes, what's your point of order, Millie?
Chair, I have an amendment in clause 3 which is not affected by the ruling.
Can I confirm that? Let me just confirm that. Yes, that is actually right. So then we will proceed first with the amendment by the chair, and then we will transact yours. If it is not affected, the ones that are not affected by the communication that have been done. But even some of them which have not been specifically mentioned, I'm sure you, Millie, being a seasoned legislator, those ones which are consequential, even if they were not mentioned specifically by the Speaker, we will do it. And I can see it is one of them is in clause 5. I don't want to, so that you can prepare your mind on that. And I think there is even one in clause 2. So you just look at that. But what is your point of order? I've heard you, Millie. What's your point of order? Who is that? The chair.
Thank you, Chair. I hear Honorable Millie. Honorable Chair, if we admit her amendments, then that means we'll be describing something which is not in existence, which has been ruled by the Speaker.
No, I think what you need to do, you canvass yours. When Honorable Millie's amendment comes, you can be able to raise that, and we will look at it on its merit.
Thank
so
you.
let's start. You have actually done yours very well, and I've actually proposed the question. So is there any member who wants to speak to this particular one? I don't see. I don't see any. Honorable Ngosia, probably.
Oh, Chair, I'm part of the Committee for Sports, Culture and Tourism, and I think our amendments did not make a lot of difference, but we support the use of the word public to differentiate from just other.
So basically you are supporting the chair's position?
I'm supporting the chair.
All right. So then I proceed to put the question, which is that clause 3 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Amendment. And honorable members, well, if it is not the one which the Speaker had specifically moved, you have the opportunity either to support it or to oppose it. So I'll give Honorable Millie to proceed, and then we'll see what the members have to say.
Chair, I propose that clause 3 be amended as per the order paper. Chair, I just want to clarify that contrary to what the chair is saying, this amendment is not actually one of the ones the Speaker talked about, because clause 3 talks about the purpose of this act. And I'm saying that the first purpose of the act is to establish a national public library service. If you look at all the other acts, if you are dealing with a public national, whatever institution, which is what it's setting, then that is what the main purpose should be. So I'm basically saying that, then it actually gives strength to what now the chair is amending later, or rather whether the chair has amended by adding the word public, because I'm actually just saying it should be establishing the National Library Service.
Okay, now, so let me propose a question, which is that clause 3 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Now, I will give the floor to the chair, see what he has to say. Well, the chair has actually done a very honorable. I wish you could sit somewhere here at the chair.
Oh, okay.
You see where ordinarily the deputy minority leader sits. That would be a good place for you. You know, it's always good for the chairs to be close because many times we have to really consult.
Okay.
So, and you can even be seen better. So, Honorable Makau, what is it that you have to say as the chair of the committee?
Thank you, Chair. Regards to Millie's...
Yes. I'm giving you the opportunity to contribute because you had actually made your comments.
Yeah.
So I wanted it to go on record now that Millie has already moved her amendment.
I heard her say that she supports what is in the order paper. Is it?
No. What Honorable Millie has, Honorable Makau, the chair of the committee, is that you know, you have moved your amendment and it has been taken.
Yes.
Honorable Millie Odhiambo has a different amendment, which he has proposed. Now, I have given you an opportunity, and initially, remember I had had you make some comments which were not meant to be done at that particular time because it had not been moved. So are you supportive?
Point of order. Point of order.
What is it again, Honorable Millie? You know, we'll not progress if you actually put a point of order against yourself.
Chair, actually you will progress because I know actually the rules of the House. My amendment was strengthening by establishing the National Public Library Service, but I see under clause 4, there is establish a national library to be known as a Kenya National Library. So I dropped my amendment.
You drop it?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Then we intended.
That makes a lot of sense.
Thank you, Chair.
So then, that having been done, then I proceed to put the global question, which is that now clause 3 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
I propose a question which is at clause 4 be part of the bill. And I put the question which is at clause 4 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
I propose the question which is at clause 5 be part of the bill.
We have an amendment on that?
On this particular one, I do not see the chair's proposal. Yes, I see one by the chair. But of course, the ones by Honorable Millie Odhiambo
Not all of them. Not all of them.
Thank you, Chair. Well, proceed and do yours, and then we will see which one Honorable Millie has.
So, Chair, clause 5 of the bill be amended by deleting the words books, serials, music, and others appearing in paragraph F, and substituting therein the words library, resource, including books, serials, and music. Mr. Chairman, it's because the paragraph is incomplete, hanging, and there is need for it to be I can't read this. Redrafted.
Yes, you are doing okay.
For purposes of communication, Mr. Chairman.
That's okay.
Thank
Actually, you had already canvassed it well. So then I propose a question which is that clause 5 be amended as proposed by Honorable Mutua, Honorable Kingola Macau. So I propose a question.
F.
Then I put the question, which is that clause 5 be amended as proposed by Honorable Macau. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contra opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now, then we will take Honorable Millie's. And let's be very clear, Honorable Millie, it really doesn't matter whether the Speaker typed it specifically. If it is consequential, it will be dropped. So what you need to do yourself is to convince the House that it is not consequential to the ones which were dropped. Because the opinion that I have here is that it's actually consequential. But just convince us. Yeah.
Chair, I think I'm very up to the task. If you look at my amendments, it's A and B. A is consequential because A is talking about monitoring the work of the Kenya International Resource Identification Numbers Agency, which we have dropped, so it's consequential. But B, Mr. Speaker, seeks to improve L. L says establish a center for books to promote reading, writing, and publishing in local languages, traditional knowledge and culture, information and advice, advocacy, book development, and easy access to books. Mr. Speaker,
you are dealing with F. F or L?
L.
L.
Lala. L for Lala.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, what I'm saying is that sentence is very convoluted. You don't know whether we are beating drums or we are writing books or what we are doing. I'm not too sure. So, Mr. Speaker, what I'm not consequential. So I propose that that part of the amendment be passed, Mr. Speaker.
Actually, that is absolutely right. It's not consequential. What was consequential is F.
Yes.
I'm sure you did not move that.
No,
but on this one, on L, I will give an opportunity. So let's propose a question which is at clause 5 be amended as proposed by Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Now, Honorable Majority Leader, now the issue here is not so much about, it's not consequential.
No.
So it's whether it's going to be taken or not.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I see where Honorable Millie Odhiambo is coming from, trying to expand L, but
No, Honorable Millie Odhiambo, please allow the members
to expand
also to
L
contribute.
by paraphrasing what's in L, but in the process ends up repeating what's already provided for in E. I mean, I've looked through this amendment, and it's basically not adding anything that is not already covered within E, within D, within establishing in F, in I, in J. Basically, we are repeating the same thing. And I would urge that rather than make the law more convoluted by adding things that are already in, right, and repeating, we just have a flow of what was already provided within the L, which is generic, and it's so clear-cut what we are talking of. When we say provide easy access to information to all Kenyans.
Is that one a member, the one who just come in? Order. let's confirm if that one is a member.
Who is a member?
Who is a member facing the other side? No, that is definitely not Soipan. Are you sure? Well, now that he's your, oh yes, there is a, I do not know, let's proceed then.
Honorable Speaker, I believe the 4 issues that are being paraphrased as a paraphrasing of L are already provided within the clause 5. So I would urge that instead of us going through splitting hairs on which is a better version of the other one, we go for the generic issues already contained in the bill and only add what is not there. But those 4 are already there in different wording. So, Mr. Chair, I want us to make progress on this, and not just for purposes of who amended, who did not amend, but by just looking through from the bill and what's being provided, and if it's the same, but I did different words, then we then need also to be clear that we need to amend somewhere else, rather than adding what's already in E, promote reading for knowledge. Then when you look at, let me just give an example. When you look at the bill, Mr. Chairman, at number E, 5E, reads, to promote reading for knowledge, information, enjoyment through stimulation of public interest in books and participation in campaigns for the eradication of literacy. When you now come to what the Honorable Mili is saying, that to delete L and then provide for LB, to promote a reading, writing, and publishing culture among Kenyans, it's the same thing. But now we are adding it in L, it's already in E, we are duplicating the same thing. And then you could do the same for all these things. So I would urge, there's no value we are adding through this extra amendment. They are already provided for, right?
Okay, I'll give the Honorable Dual.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, indeed, as I'm a member of the committee, and as we looked at this in the manner that Honorable Millie Odhiambo had indicated, we were aware that her aim, as she clearly expressed, was to bring simplicity in terms of taking the exact information that was there, but separating it into A, B, and C, and D for clarity. Chair, I just wanted to say that from the perspective of the committee, and this is a bit ironic because we felt that a lot of legal jargon and expression, which is what we really have here, tends to be presented in paragraph form. And therefore, Chair, in as much as we did agree that Honorable Millie was not really adding or changing anything, but was seeking to simplify, from our standpoint, we actually felt that the manner in which it was as a paragraph, it was quite clear, and it was really reading in terms of the way that it was. So I just wanted to indicate that from our perspective, we didn't think it was adding anything. We just felt that as jargon, the manner in which it was as paragraph was actually much more suitable than this breakup.
You are supporting the Honorable Millie's proposal? Or
I'm not.
You are opposing?
I'm saying I agree with her, but I'm saying that I don't support the amendment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Honorable members, now then it's up to you to make your decision, really, unless Honorable Millie wants to make any decision of, do you have any decision, you want to make any move one way or the other?
Chair, I'm not going to drop my proposal, save that if I listen to the majority leader very clearly, that this provision is already in other clauses, then the logical thing is actually to drop L. Because then you are being repetitive. All I was doing is to seek clarity, but I'm not dropping.
Now,
let it be the fate of the House.
If it's not being dropped, I'll be very keen, honorable members, to hear your voice. So you better make it clear so that I don't have to struggle. So then I put the question, which is that clause 5 be amended as proposed by Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay?
That is
Clause 6.
I propose a question which is at clause 6 be part of the bill. And I see the chair has an amendment.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we propose that the bill be amended in clause 6 by deleting subclause 1 and substituting, therefore, the following new subclauses. 6.1. The management of the Kenya National Library Service shall vest in the board, which shall consist of a chairperson appointed by the President.
Just a minute, the Honorable Macau. Just a minute. I think out of issues we have not been able to fully deal with the previous one, because I want to put the global question. Yeah, then prepare yourself. Just in a minute, I'm going to do. So I put the question.
As some get it.
Which is clause 5, as amended, be now part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Proceed now, Honorable Macau.
Thank you. Yeah. So, B, the Principal Secretary responsible for matters relating to libraries or a representative designated in writing. C, the Principal Secretary responsible for matters relating to financial or a representative of designated in writing, or as per the order paper. Mr. Chairman, justification. I'm new in this, so yes. I'm just learning. Don't worry.
Actually, you've done it well. Now, what you need to be doing henceforth is let us have it as by the order paper, and then you just give the small justification.
Mr. Chairman, reason why our justification is this is a bill concerning county government, and there is need to include the representatives in the board. There is also need to reduce the number of board members from 10 to 9, in line with Mongoso, and correct a cross-referencing error, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. Yes. So then, honorable members, let's be clear that if that passes, then the other two amendments will be dropped. So then let me propose a question, which is that clause 6 be amended as proposed by Honorable Macau. Honorable Millie, you want to say something to it?
Chair, I support the proposed amendment. Yes, I was just actually noting that mine is not affected. It's still coming, but I do support the proposed amendments by the chair.
And Bill is something that you need to tell us. You see?
Yeah, Chair, one of them actually is similar to mine.
There is one which is going to remain.
Yes, there's one which will remain, but there's one which is similar to mine.
Correct.
So I support.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we have agreed, honorable members, that if Honorable Macau Kingola's amendment is taken, one of the Honorable Millie's amendment will drop, but another one will survive the onslaught. So then, let me propose a question. So I don't see any interest from members. So I put the question, which is that clause 6 be amended as proposed by Honorable Kingola. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. So then we have the Honorable Millie Odhiambo dealing with subclause 3. Subclause 2 has been now dropped. And I believe that is okay with you, Honorable Millie. Proceed then. Give her the mic.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 6, subclause 3 be amended as per the order paper. Chair, all I'm seeking to do is to ensure that the Cabinet Secretary, in making appointments, we have provided for gender parity, inclusion of persons with disability, marginalized persons, and the youth, but we have left out regional representation. So I'm only adding regional representation. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. That's very clear. So then I propose a question, which is that the clause 6 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. I put the question, which is that clause 6 be amended as proposed by Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Members of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Now, Honorable Musimba, absent, so dropped. So then I put the question, which is that clause 6, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 7.
I propose the question, which is at clause 7, be part of the bill. I put the question, which is at clause 7, be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 8.
I propose the question, which is at clause 8, be part of the bill. The Honorable Chair, Honorable Kingola, you have something on this one.
Yes, Mr. Chair, as per the order paper, reason being, this is to include the words of the board, which are missing. Further, there is need to delete paragraph G, as it has been provided for under paragraph D. Thank you, Chair.
Very well. So then, I propose a question which is at clause 8 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Kingola. Yes, so let's have Honorable Sanko.
Chair, I just wanted to know if from the description, from the first pages, I think, of this bill, a member was being defined from the definition. If the member was being defined as a member of the board, then we don't need to do it because it will be repetition, even definition, because in definition normally we give definition of all names that have been used.
Okay. So then,
definition.
What is it that you want? I was not very clear. You wanted the definition? What?
No, I'm saying
yes.
If the word member was defined to mean the member of the board, then we don't have to repeat here that it's a member of the board because we are just doing a repetition.
I think it's okay. We can either proceed, pass it. I mean, it doesn't. So let me just put the question on that one. So then I put the question, which is at clause 8, be amended as proposed by Honorable Kingola. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. And I put the question, which is at clause 8, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 9, clause 10, clause 11, clause 12, clause 13, clause 15, clause 16.
I propose the question, which is at clauses 9 through to 16, be part of the bill. And I put the question, which is at clauses 9 through to 15, be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 17.
I propose the question, which is at clause 17, be part of the bill. Honorable Kingola.
Chairman, I move that clause 17 be amended as per the order paper. Reason being, this is to ensure that the board also considers the youth, persons with disability, and minorities and marginalized groups when employing staff, in addition to gender parity and diversity of the people.
Very well. So then I propose a question, which is at clause 17, be amended as proposed by the Honorable Macau. I put the question, which is at clause 17, be amended as proposed by the Honorable Macau. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. And I put the question, which is at clause 17, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 18.
I propose a question, which is at clause 18, be part of the bill. And I put the question, which is at clause 18, be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 19.
I propose a question, which is at clause 19, be part of the bill. The Honorable Macau, sorry.
Chairman, I move that clause 19 be amended as per the order paper. Reason being, this covers all instances where a person is acting on the instructions of the service and is the standard way of briefing, drafting the clause.
Perfect. So then I propose a question which is at clause 19 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Kingola. Honorable Nyama, you want to say something on this?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I just want to support the Honorable Makau and point out that this has to do with the general drafting with regard to protection from personal liability for the people involved in the activities within the institution. Thank you, Chairman.
Honorable Wanyonyi, Watangula, on this one.
Honorable Speaker, I support, although I wanted to speak on the earlier one, but I support the amendment of, as proposed by the Chair.
Oh, okay. So then I put the question, which is at clause. What is it, Honorable? I can see you are protecting.
Yes, because we know we are talking about protection from personal liability. And according to how the amendment that is being introduced here, we will protect so many people, and this is where corruption now begins. Because let everybody carry their own cross. I think in the earlier one, people are not protected from carrying liability. If you are instructed to do something that is wrong, you should also say, no, I cannot do that one.
Okay. So basically you are opposing.
No. Yeah, explain.
Okay, let's have the Honorable, because of course we normally don't give
Honorable Speaker, I want to support this amendment. I think Honorable Sangok has not gotten it clearly, because this is in execution when you are doing the duty on behalf of the National Library. It's not on your personal. So you cannot be held personally responsible when you are executing on your duty. I think these are different things.
Okay.
So
then,
I support this.
Then let's proceed and put the question. Sankok, you have a right to vote one way or the other. So I propose, I put the question, which is at clause 19, be amended as proposed by the Honorable Makau. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it. Then I put the question, which is at clause 19, be as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 20.
I propose a question which is at clause 20 be part of the bill. And I put the question which is at clause 20 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. And as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 21.
I propose a question which is at clause 21 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair.
Chair, I move that clause 21 be amended as per the order paper. The reason being, Article 95A(b) of the Constitution provides that the National Assembly appropriates funds for expenditure by the national government and other national state organs. There is thus need to provide that it is the National Assembly and not Parliament that will allocate money to the service. Further, there is need to delete paragraph F as it has been provided for under paragraph D.
Very well. So then I propose a question which is at clause 21 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Makau. And I put the question which is at clause 21 be amended as proposed by Honorable Makau. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I put the question which is at clause 21 as amended bit of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 22.
I propose a question which is at clause 22 be part of the bill. The Honorable Makau.
I move that clause 22 be amended as per the order paper. Reason being, this covers all instances whereby the service will need to invest extra funds and is the standard way of drafting the clause, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So then I propose a question which is at clause 22 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Makau. And I put the question which is at clause 22 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Makau. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I put the question which is at clause 22 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 23.
I propose a question which is at clause 23 be part of the bill. The Honorable Makau.
I move that clause 23 be amended as per the order paper. Justification, this is to allow adequate time for the Cabinet Secretary to factor in the financial requirements of the service into the national budget.
Very well. Then I propose a question which is at clause 23 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Macau. I put the question which is at clause 23 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Macau. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I put the question which is at clause 23 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 24.
I propose a question which is at clause 24 be part of the bill. And I put the question which is at clause 24 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 25.
I propose a question which is at clause 25 be part of the bill. The Honorable Macau.
I move clause 25 be amended as per the order paper, reason being there is need to provide how the accounts of the board shall be prepared, audited, and reported, and this is in accordance with the provisions of the Public Audit Act 2015.
Okay. Then I propose a question which is at clause 25 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Macau. I put the question which is at clause 25 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Macau. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I put the question which is at clause 25 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33.
Very well. So then I propose the question which is at clauses 26 through to 33 be part of the bill. And I put the question which is at clause 26 through to 33 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 34.
I propose a question which is at clause 34 be part of the bill. And the Honorable Macau, I believe you are moving a deletion on this one.
Mr. Chair, I move that clause 34 be amended as per the order paper, reason being the provision is unconstitutional as it purports to limit the right of a person to commence legal proceedings against the service. Article 22 of the Constitution guarantees the right of every person to institute court proceedings. The procedure for instituting court proceedings is provided in the Civil Procedure Act, Cap 2.1, and other relevant legislation. There is thus need to delete the same, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. So what actually you have proposed, the Honorable Macau, is that that particular one be deleted.
Yes.
So then I'll be proposing the question, which is at clause 34 be deleted as proposed by the Honorable Macau. Yes, Honorable Millie, what is it?
Chair, actually what this clause 34 is doing is just restating the Government Proceedings Act. So it's actually not wrong. Because under the Government Proceedings Act, you can't sue direct. You must give notice. You cannot sue the government of Kenya direct. You must give notice before you sue, giving particulars and giving details. So, Mr. Speaker, I oppose, because it's going against the Government Proceedings Act.
Okay. The leader majority party.
Indeed, on this one, I totally agree with the Honorable Medio Thiambo. I was actually surprised the committee wants to delete, because it's not limiting the right of people to sue. It's determining the procedure of how the service, the proceedings will take place. So, and this is in consonance with the rest of government. So I would urge that now that the committee has moved, so it's not retrievable unless they can retrieve, but I would urge that this is perhaps, your reasoning may be right, but for the wrong reasons. That 34 is actually defining how proceedings against the national service will take place. It's not stopping anyone from doing it. It's actually providing that an action shall not be commenced unless the complainant has served the DG with a written notice. It is not saying nobody can serve. but it's saying you must serve the Director General within a certain period. Then you proceed on, which is basically what's provided for all government suits. So
do we carry it?
So we need to carry, we don't need to delete that, otherwise we will be exposing the National Library Service to all different people.
Okay, so then I have to, you want to do anything, because there are two options. You know, you can allow the House to make the decision, or you want, because you really cannot, I'm really struggling to imagine that you can retrieve it now that you have already moved.
Chairman, sometimes, you know, sometimes we rely on the legal minds of the committee.
Agreed.
So since we are getting
more
information in the House,
just leave it there.
The committee is not limited to...
The House can help. The House can help you retrieve it.
Yes.
So, you know, let's, because I've also looked at it very keenly, and probably I'm sure you're also looking at it, but I'm not saying anything one way or the other because, well, all I need to do is to put it before the House. They can decide to help you in your new position that you have agreed, or they can allow you to delete it.
Unguided, Mr.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, how you take it.
So then, honorable members, I'm sure you had the arguments one way or the other. So then I put the question, which is that clause 34 be deleted. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The nays have it. Actually, the leader of majority, you have argued one way and decided to vote the other way. So, but at least you have been sorted one way or the other. So it is sorted. That one falls. So then we go to the next ones.
Cross 35, cross 36, cross 37.
I propose a question which is at clause 35, 36, and that is not, before we go to those ones, let us now take the specific, so that this one remains. So then I propose that clause 34 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. So what has happened there, honorable members, is that you have allowed it to remain as is. I have put the question. Maybe you are having a problem with the way I put on the mask. You have a problem with your other sense. Well, you know, order, Honorable Dr. Pukosi. Number one is that there is no proposal that is voted on. You only vote on a question that has been put. So for those ones who know equity, equity will treat as done that which ought to be done. But just for avoidance of any doubt, I put the question again. Will, as this is about clause 34. So just allow me, honorable members, to now put it in the proper manner. I put the question, which is at clause 34, be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now, and these ones, now let's go to the next clauses.
Cross 35, cross 36, cross 37.
I propose the question which is that clause 35, 36, and 37 be part of the bill. And I put the question which is that clause 35, 36, and 37 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 38.
I propose the question which is at clause 38 be part of the bill. Now, the Honorable Macau, you are again proposing a deletion on this one.
Thank you, Chairman. I move that clause 38 be provisions on delegated legislation should also form their own stand. I mean, their own standalone part of the bill, as opposed to being a clause only.
Okay, that's okay. So, honorable members, I am going to propose a question, and the first person I'll give the opportunity to speak is the Honorable Millie Odhiambo, because I think she's also proposing a similar thing.
Yes.
So that if this one is carried, then Honorable Millie is rendered not of too much value then, because it will have been carried anyway.
Yes.
So then I propose the question, which is that clause 38 be amended or be deleted as proposed by the Honorable Macau. Let's have Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I support that amendment. First, I hadn't actually seen what he was doing, but under the Constitution, we must be very clear about where we are putting delegated authority. So this is the older way of actually providing before we had the Constitution. So I actually support the committee.
Very well. So then
and I drop mine, of course.
Don't
even
drop
though it
until,
falls
until
automatically.
we finalize this one. So then I propose a question which is that clause 38 be amended as proposed by the Honorable. I put the question which is that clause 38 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Patrick Macau. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. So that one is deleted.
Mine has dropped.
It is automatic, Honorable
It will
Sanko.
automatically fall.
We do not have to pronounce anything on that. It's deleted, so there is nothing to amend or to be deleted again.
Clause 39.
Propose the question which is clause 39 be part of the bill. I put the question which is that clause 39 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 39. Sorry, clause 40.
I propose a question which is that clause 40 be part of the bill. Now, on this particular one, we have the chair. So you proceed, the Honorable Patrick Kingola Macau.
On clause 5, I agree.
Yes, Chair, I move that clause 40 be amended as per the order paper, justification being subclause 3 has already been transited all employees to the service. However, subclause 5 purports that the employees should sign new contracts, although subclause 6 provides that the terms of the contract should not be disadvantageous to the employees. The employer still has a stronger bargaining position. And again, subclause 7 further provides that anyone who does not enter into the contract shall be deemed to have resigned without right to severance pay, which does not favor the employee. Lastly, the terms of employment and termination is extensively enumerated under the Employment Act 2007. There is thus no need to address the same under this Act, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So then I propose a question which is at clause 40 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Macau. Now, before we proceed, you know, Honorable Millie Odhiambo, you had, this is what was subject to the communication. So yours is dropped. We are not going to consider it at all. So then if I want to see if there is a member or two. Honorable Iringo, your mic has been requesting to have you speak for some time. You want to speak on this one?
I support the chair.
Very good. Now, well, then I proceed to put the question. The Honorable Dr. Nyekal. Order, Honorable Member.
Chair,
Order.
as I support, probably it would be better to have 3 and add that in the same, under the same conditions of employment. Because the number 3 just says, upon commencement thereof, be decreed to be an employee of the National Library Services. It would have been better if you say, under the same terms of employment. If the honorable member would like to add that, it would make it neater.
I don't think that can happen now. Not happen because it has to be, you know, it has to go through the process. Yes. So since we do not have an amendment before the House, we probably will have nothing to, well, yours would be a suggestion for a future endeavor. So, the Honorable Bukose.
Thank you, Chair, for allowing me to contribute. I think the amendments which has been made by the Chair are actually good amendments because under the Employment and Labor Relations Act, when you are transiting from one organization to the other, it's always provided So I think those are good amendments. I support.
Okay. Okay, take us to the reserve, Honorable Nominee 001.
Yes, Chair, and this is what brought down our counties. Such blanket kind of transition, we overprotect sometimes employees. The wage bill is quite huge in county government because of such clauses. So I think you are saying it is for future, but such clauses, the first bill before you deleted these ones, deleting of clause 5, 6, and 7 was better off. It was protecting the institution. This one is protecting workers more than an institution, and they may actually have a bigger burden.
I do not know whether you have read it correctly, but in any case, the Honorable Sankok, you know, it pays to be keen and look at some of these things prior, because then you will be able to help the House to make the necessary amendments, just like what the Honorable Millie Odhiambo has done and maybe Honorable Musimba. So it is much better for us to have acted rather than to come and lament last minute, because at this point in time, it is whether we are going to take it or it is going to fall. So there is no amendment, even the one which you are recommending before the House. So you have also said it is also for another future undertaking. So then I put the question, which is that clause 40 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Macau. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it. And I put the question, which is that clause 40 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it. And also, so we go to the next set of amendments.
The new process.
What is it again, the Honorable Macau? You still will have your time somewhere. Once we have done, we are through with this. There is some bit of time you will have, probably at the reading of the third reading.
New cross 19A.
For me. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is. That is. So, I'm there. Page 3.
Okay. Now, the Honorable Macau, you need to move second reading of the new clause 19A.
Thank you, Chair. I move that clause 19A be amended as per the order paper. Huh? Oh.
Just a minute. Hold on.
Yeah. Be read a second time.
Just a minute, Honorable Macau.
Yeah.
Just a minute.
On new clause.
So then, Honorable Macau, please move second reading now.
Mr. Chairman, I propose that the new clause 19A be now read a second time.
Very well. You've done it very well. So I propose the question, which is that clause, new clause.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I thought I should propose and then allow him to. You can do it still. It doesn't offend anything. You can actually explain it now.
Okay.
Rather than wait for
Mr.
me to propose. So that when I propose, the members can have their say.
My justification, Mr. Chairman, is this new clause is important as it provides for compensation in case a person suffers injury caused by the service, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. So then I propose a question, which is that new clause 19A be now read a second time. I see only Honorable Pukose interested in speaking to this. But it's fairly straightforward, really.
It's a straightforward, Chair. You know, in the previous 19, Honorable Sangok had raised that somebody should be held responsible. So, and also for compensation if you are injured while you are performing your duties. So I think this is a very straightforward amendment, and I support.
Honorable Kubai, Iringo.
Yeah, Chair, I also stand to support the new clause 19A, Chair, because it gives at least, it gives whoever who uses the libraries should be taken care of legally in case of any incidentals. I support.
Very well. So then I put the question, which is that the new clause 19A be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And now, honorable members, I propose a question, which is that the new clause 19A be part of the bill. I put the question, which is that new clause 19A be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New part 4A.
Let's have the mover to move second reading. That is new 4A. New part 4A. Now, close it here. Now.
Is that 1A or what? Is that 1A? Yeah? Yes, yes. Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Just in the very able manner that you did the first one, just move it in the same manner, but this is now for part 4, new part 4A.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
So,
Mr. Chairman, I propose that the new part 4A, clause 31A, be now read a second time.
Okay, that is perfect. So then I propose a question, which is that the new
Let me explain. May I explain
sorry.
the reason?
I think I'm moving a little fast.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the reason of this is that this is to conform with Article 94(6) of the Constitution and Standing Order number 118, which provides that regulations must specify the limits of the authority, the nature and the scope of the law which may be made, and the principles and standards applicable to law made under this authority. The provision on delegated legislation should also form their own standalone part in the bill, as opposed to being a clause only.
Very well. You finished it, so then I proceed to propose a question, which is that new part 4A be now read a second time. Leader Majority Party.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I just want to put for the record that indeed this new part 4A, which introduces a new clause 31A, replaces the clause 38, which we deleted to make it conform with the requirements of the new constitution and the new way of issuing regulation. Yes. Just to have the link with the 38 that we deleted.
That clarifies even further. So, Honorable Didi Nyoro, what is your point of order?
Thank you,
Honorable
Mr.
What's your point of order?
Thank you, Chair. I seek your guidance here, Chair. Because now, when you're having these new clauses, the Chair is moving for a second reading.
Yes.
And if he's moving for a second reading, I think he should have a seconder so that you can propose.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Oh, okay.
Not at all. So this is in the committee now. Yeah, I think it's good you are very keen, but not on this one. So this one we will proceed in the normal manner. Yeah, so Honorable Nyoro.
Thank you very much, Chair, and I support, especially in line with Article 94 of the Constitution, the kind of laws we make here are broad, and it is necessary for the Cabinet Secretary to make more meticulous regulations to be able to effect the role that we are making.
Very well. So then I put the question, which is that new part 4A be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I propose a question, which is that the new part 4A be part of the bill. And I put the question, which is that new part 4A be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
First schedule.
Yes. Again, move. No. These are not
Mr. Chairman?
Just a minute. These are not.
Is it moving or?
These are not. So then, this is okay, because this is not being read for the second. We are not moving second reading on this one.
Yeah.
I propose a question, which is that the first schedule be part of the bill. Now, let's have you now moving the amendment.
Thank you, Chairman. I move that the first schedule be amended as per the order paper, and reason being that this, to be specific on months which may not pass before a meeting of the board is held. It is also to prescribe the quorum for a board meeting, correct typographical errors, and delete repetitive provisions.
Very well. So then I propose a question, which is that the first schedule be amended as proposed by the Honorable Patrick Macau. I put the question, which is that the first schedule be amended as proposed by the Honorable Patrick Macau. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I put the question, which is the first schedule as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Second schedule.
Propose the question with the second schedule be part of the bill. I put the question with the second schedule be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Third schedule.
I propose a question, which is that the third schedule be part of the bill. I put the question, which is that the third schedule be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose a question, which is that clause 2 be part of the bill.
No amendment.
Now, the Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Yes.
The Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Yes.
You definitely are not going to move clause C, clause 2C. Now, this one I'm trying to look at it whether it is consequential. In fact, in the meantime, it should be the one. Let me just confirm whether they are consequential.
Yeah, there are parts of C that...
C is consequential.
Parts of C and parts of it is not.
No,
because
C is
they've made reference to international standards.
See, Honorable Odhiambo, you will move A and B. 2A and B. And this one is very clear in the communication of the Speaker, which you actually accepted to.
Chair, it's not a matter of life and death.
No, Honorable Millie, you really have to be also courteous, because look, if I were to read you the communication by the Chair...
If I explain myself, Chair, I'm actually not challenging the decision.
I really don't want you to.
No, I'm actually indicating that if you actually look at the body of the bill, they make reference to international standard music, international standard book number, but it is not defined. But that I'm saying it's neither here nor there, it can fall off. But I'm saying, Chair, I wish to move that clause 2, A and B.
Clause 2, A and B.
Yeah, I think it should be A and B.
Yes.
Be amended as per the order paper.
Actually, for it to be tidy, that particular bit that you wanted to amend C is dropped. So then now you proceed and move clause 2, not necessarily having to specify A and B, because we have dropped, and that should be on record.
Chair, it has actually, the order paper has disappeared.
From where?
From my screen. You know, this is a touch screen. It disappears with things very, very easily. No, it's just disappeared suddenly.
So we will have the hard copy.
No,
brought to you.
Chair, I found it.
Okay.
Thank you. But it would be nice normally if we are moving to have this because of misbehavior of technology. But Chair, I move that clause 2A and B be amended as per the order paper. And Chair, the reason I'm saying that, but I seek your direction, Chair, because it's not just that only. There's also print, which is not covered.
Where is it?
Print is also defined.
But where is it? But that is in C, so that is not a place we are going to go to now.
That's okay, Chair.
Yes.
So then I move that clause 2A and B be amended as per the order paper. Chair, in A, what my amendment seeks to do is to acknowledge that book is not only in the usual form that we know it, which is physical, but we also now have books in digital, audio, and also print form. So what I'm adding is to add the digital, audio, and print. Secondly, for that subsection 2, I'm also defining member to mean a member in relation to the board, immediately after the word member means. And the reason is, within the body of the bill, we also refer to a member of the library. So when you define member without saying which member you are referring to, then you would be importing an ordinary member of the library to be a member of the board.
Okay.
And then for part B, I'm deleting the definition of the term National Library Service and substituting with the definition, which means it's a repository and access point for print, audio, audiovisual, braille, and digital materials, and documents in braille that serves as a permanent, or rather preeminent repository of information for the country, and as the official depository for printed works, a general public access library and information and bibliographic center. Chair, as currently written, it seems to imply that the library, all the things in the library must be in braille form, when actually what is intended is that there should also be material in braille form. So what I'm seeking to do is to maintain the access for persons with disability by having braille, but as one form of the material, so that everything is not in braille form, because then those who are differently able, like us, from the ones who are disabled, will be disabled. Chair, I hope you understand me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, then I proceed to propose the question, which is that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. I will give, everybody seems to be happy with it, so why don't I simply put the question? Okay, let's have, is that Honorable Wino?
Yes, Chair.
The ward chief.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'm not opposing it, but I just want a matter of consistency. In clause 5, Chair, we did delete the word books, serials, and all that, and replace with library resources, and gave books, serials, and music as examples. Now here, we are also introducing another term, digital audio. So if clarity can be made so that we are consistent. If we are using music, let it be music throughout. If we digital audio, so just consistency, but I think the amendment is good.
We did not do that, the Honorable Owino. We actually did not do that. Maybe we will have the, let me give first, I'll give you the last, Honorable Kingola. Honorable Sankok, I know when Braille is brought into form.
Yes, you know, I normally
you have to say something.
Oppose, but this one I really support because for a long time we have not considered person with disability. With audio, you know, person who cannot see will be able to access any book that are in audio, and also the Braille. We have been having persons with disability who are visually impaired struggling, But this one is a very progressive one, in line with the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability.
Okay.
The East African Community,
Okay,
Article 120C.
We can finish this. So then, therefore, I put the question which is at clause 2 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. And I put the question which is at clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Long title.
I propose a question which is at the long title be the title to the bill. Be the long title to the bill. I put the question which is at the long title be the long title to the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Title.
Propose a question with the title be the title to the bill. I put the question with the title be the title to the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
Propose a question which is at clause 1 be part of the bill. And I put the question which is at clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Now let's have the mover to move reporting.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Kenya National Library Bill, number 5 of 2020, and it's with amendments. No, there's no amendment here. There's no support here.
So, I was saying if there was any secondment, of course, it should come from Iringo. Not on this particular one. So you might have to remember that. Now, then I put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Kenya Library Bill, National Assembly Bill number 5 of 2020, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And then, honorable members, we will be moving to the next bill, which will be, there will be only changes in terms of gender, so you have to be very careful, honorable members. But I thank you for the far we've come.
yote na kalamu. Order, members. Order, members. Those who are walking out of the chamber, please do so with some decorum. Our members, we are continuing the Committee of the Whole, and for this time we are in the Kenya National Blood Transfusion Bill, the National Assembly Bill number 6 of 2020.
Clause 3 and 4.
I propose the question, which is that clause 3 be part of the bill. 3 and 4 be part of the bill. Our members, we have no amendments to the two clauses, and therefore move to put the question, which is that the clauses 3 and 4 be part of the bill. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as of contrary opinion say nay? Our members, the ayes have it.
Clause 5.
I propose the question, which is at clause 5, be part of the bill. Amendment. The chairperson.
Clause 5. Thank you, Chair. I move that clause 5 of bill be amended in paragraph F by deleting the words antimicrobial resistance and substituting it therefore with the words pathogen transmission and resistance. This is because the statement does not portray clearly functions to be performed, and the amendment is a cleanup, as antimicrobial resistance as provided in the paragraph is not a function. Thank you, Chair.
Very well. With that, I propose a question, which is at clause 5, be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question, which is at clause 5, be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of this bill say aye? And as many as of contrary say nay? The ayes have it. I put the question, which is at clause 5, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as of this bill say aye? And as many as of contrary say nay? The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 6.
Members, I propose a question, which is at clause 6, be part of the bill. We have an amendment. Please, Chair, move the amendment.
Thank you, Chair. I move that clause 6 of the bill be amended by A, deleting the subclause 1, and substituting, therefore, the following new subclause. As per the order paper. Thank you, Chair. And the leader majority is making me.
You are a very experienced member of parliament. So.
This clause, Madam Chair, is being amended the management of the service, which shall vest in the board, which shall consist of an executive chairperson appointed in accordance with subsection 2, and Chair, as per the order paper. The justification of the amendment is that the amendment 6, there is adequate representation of all stakeholders in the blood transfusion services, including the inclusion of a representative of learning institution within the specific health sector. I move, Madam Chair. Further amendment on the same one B is to delete subclause 2 and substituting therefore the following new subclause, that the chairperson shall be competitively recruited and appointed by the Cabinet Secretary from among persons who have A, at least a postgraduate university degree in a health-related field recognized in Kenya, B, at least 15 years experience in matters relating to leadership and management in private and public sector, or 3, a distinguished public, private, or teaching sector record on matters relating to health. The justification of the amendment seeks to provide for specific qualifications for the person who will be appointed as chairperson, who ought to have relevant qualification in health sector, considering the specialized and sensitive nature of blood transfusion service. I move the amendment, Madam Chair.
Then with that, members, I propose a question, which is at clause 6, be amended as proposed by the chair. Honorable, I put the question, which is at clause 6, be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the question, which is at clause 6, as amended, be part of the bill. As many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? Members, the ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 7, clause 8, and clause 9.
I propose the question, which is at clause 7, 8, and 9 be part of the bill. No amendment to these clauses, and therefore I move to put the question, which is at clause 7, 8, and 9 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? And will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 10.
I propose a question, which is at clause 10 be part of the bill. We have an amendment by the chair.
Thank you, Chair. I move that clause 10(2) of the bill be amended by deleting paragraph D and substituting therefore with the following: the levy fees for services rendered by the services that provided under section 30. The justification is that blood donation is voluntary and non-remunerated. Charging of fees ought not to be arise from blood transfusion service offered by the board. The amendment seeks to avoid ambiguity in law that may occasion the trading in blood and related services. I move, Madam Chair.
Very well, members. I propose the question, which is at clause 10, be amended as proposed by the chair. I move to put the question, which is at clause 10, be amended as proposed by the chair. As many as are of this opinion say aye. Aye.